everyone, my name is Charmaine and I'm the dietitian that helps people reverse type 2 diabetes with plant-based eating. And I have Patricia here, who's our program client, and she is amazing. So we can say hi to everyone, Patricia. Amazing.
Hello.
Great. So Patricia, what made you reach out to me?
It's funny, in 2020 during quarantine, my 30-year-old daughter introduced me to TikTok. And in 2021, in October, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And I think my phone was listening to me. and in my For You page, Charmaine popped up in TikTok, and she said that she could get people off of their medications by eating plant-based diet. And so I was intrigued and started listening. So that's how I found out about you.
Awesome. So I know it is a pretty big change, right? From what you're probably used to. So what actually made you have the motivation to do what you're doing?
I'm disabled, so I'm in a wheelchair, and I thought I had a urinary tract infection. Believe it or not, I was very sick, very, very sick, and with antibiotics, and they were trying to, type 2 diabetes doesn't run in my family. But now that I found out it does run in my community, in the spinal cord injured people, a lot of us do develop type 2 diabetes because we live such sedentary lives. So I was motivated because I was so sick. And then they took me up for blood work, and my general practitioner did an A1C, and I was at a 13.5, which is scary dangerous, like heart attack dangerous. It freaked me out. And I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about type 2 diabetes, so I just immersed myself. I think I watched every one of your videos, and because I was when they put me on, they immediately put me on the normal, very high dose of medication, and I was so sick, and it just made me so sick, and I couldn't tolerate it. So they switched me again, and they kept switching medications, and I was really ill. And I was like, I just can't be on these medications. I didn't feel well on them, but I knew that I had to do something because I was so sick. So I immersed myself in your video.
Awesome. So how has your journey been, with transitioning to a plant-based lifestyle? I know it's, a lot of times people feel like they have to do 100% plant-based, but that's actually not true. So how has your journey been in transitioning to this lifestyle?
Well, when I first started, I tried to do 100% plant-based. And although my blood sugars were great, I think I lasted 2 weeks. And I said, I can't do this. I just can't. And I just was so mad. And I was, and then Charmaine and I had a meeting, and she was like, we can tweak your diet. You can still have some dairy. Let's try this brand, let's do this, let's try. And she even convinced me to try plant-based yogurt, which I did. It wasn't that awful. I could give up red meat, which I wasn't really a big fan of anyway, and I could give up even some, a lot of like chicken and things like that, but I was so used to having cheese. I don't eat a lot of it, but I like eggs. I like to have some things. So we tweaked. Charmaine helped me tweak. And that really, my sugars were great. And I was able to, with a little bit of tweaking, I was able to do a modified plant-based diet.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, I love that. And I love that you were transparent too, because I think a lot of people feel the pressure to be perfect, right? They feel the pressure to, okay, I have to do 100% because I'm in this program now. But I think honestly, because you were able to make those small modifications, like it actually helped you, really make this your own, right? You still get to eat what you want to eat, right? But you're able to make this your own. So I definitely love that.
I mean, I tried. to go 100%, but I knew that I couldn't sustain that
Mm.
for the rest of my life. And this is a lifelong journey.
Yeah,
I had to do something that would stick.
absolutely.
I've been on Weight Watchers before. I've always had weight issues my whole life. So I knew that sticking to a diet, this is a life-changing thing. And it's scary to have diabetes, in my opinion. It affects every part of you, your eyes, your feet, it's this, I think, for me, I was motivated.
I love that.
Yeah.
What are the results that you've been seeing?
My doctor first, after about a month, 2 months on it, she noticed I have a sensor.
Mm-hmm.
I can't prick my fingers due to my spinal cord injury. I have pain. So I wear a sensor. And so the doctor is able to see and I religiously checked my blood sugars because I wanted to get off the medication. And I knew this would be proof to the doctor. Mm-hmm. Look at my numbers. And so I put them right on my phone, and she's able to see them in her office. And I think Medicare pays for that nowadays, by the way. But I did the blood sugars, and my doctor was like, oh, good job. I think we can lower. And then she took me off of it. She said, this is what we'll do. I'll write you a script for the lowest milligram, just in case. So if your blood sugars spike after taking you off, you can put yourself back on it. So I was happy that she was willing to do that. Well, because of my eating, they never went up. They were low. In the morning, I was under 100 and my sugars were great. And I just had my A1C done last week, and I'm now at a 6.2 or something like that. And so I'm from a 13 to it in 3 months.
That's crazy. That is more than half. You slashed your A1C more than half. You got off medications.
I'm off of it all. And I even researched how long it would take for the medication to get out of my body. And it takes 30 days. And my sugars are still good. And it's been over 30 days. So
it's fantastic. And how do you feel? Like, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. My feet are less swelled up. And that happens with spinal cord injured people. Our feet tend to swell anyway, and less swelling. I feel less tired. I used to take more naps in the afternoon. So unless I'm like super duper active, I wish I would force myself to exercise more, but I'm trying. I am trying. Yeah, I'm really pleased that this really worked, and it really does work.
That's so good to hear. And what would you say to someone who's on the fence about reversing diabetes?
I would say if you really, really want to get off your medications, it can be done by the way you eat. I am proof, because although I always counted calories and I was counting, to keep my weight down. Right. But I was eating poorly. I was eating processed foods and, counting potato chips and, things that I still developed diabetes, and I was, losing weight by the way I was eating, but I wasn't eating right. Mm-hmm. So you can develop diabetes by what there are many ways of developing diabetes, but, a lot of it's hereditary, but you can still do it.
So you're saying that, before it was still counting calories, but it's more so, unhealthy foods, right? And I remember you sharing with me how, now that you've changed your lifestyle, now you see other people teaching other people count potato chips. You just feel like, what?
I went to a diabetes class and I did learn the first session. It was over Zoom. The first session, I learned a lot about medications, which I knew nothing about. Which I don't ever want to know anything about it. But the second session, they were literally talking about counting potato chips and counting your ice cream. And they were holding up a little Pyrex dish. This is how big your ice cream should be. Instead of talking about plant-based. And I even told her, but what I learned from the endocrinologist is a lot of people that have it don't care. or are not motivated. They just take the medication and they eat whatever they want, or there are a lot of people out there that don't even care. I just, I understand that the endocrinologist was saying, look, we have to do whatever we have to do to help people in any way. And I get it, but I didn't want that. I wanted to get off medication. So that was my motivation.
Yeah.
So.
I love that. So your ultimate goal is to get off medication and feel good, right? And I think
the medication makes me really, really, my stomach upset. It feels like it just feels awful. And I'm on other medications for other things, and I don't want to just take so many medications that I feel like an 80-year-old grandma. I just don't want to. I've got some life to live, and I've got kids, and I love that. I want to be around for grandchildren one day,
Yes, that's exciting. Yeah, for sure. What is there anything else that you would like to, share with the audience? Anything you'd like to share more?
I just think it really helps when you track your food, and on the app, Charmaine makes it really easy because although I didn't always show pictures of my food, which I should have, but because I know how to do that from being in Weight Watchers, like if you don't know how to do that and it really does help to know like how to do that. And then she can look at it and say, oh, well, you can switch this up, and it really does help. I think it really does help. Well,
thank you so much, Patricia, for sharing. I love your story. And I just love your spirit. And I think you're definitely a fighter. You fight for your health, you fight for just how you feel, and just to be truly off medications. I think that is beautiful.
Thanks, Charmaine.
Yeah, of course. It makes my day to see you thrive. So I'm super grateful that we got connected. And for those of you that are watching, you can give Patricia a shout out. She's definitely amazing. I love her spirit. So, and if you want to learn a little bit more of the science behind reversing diabetes, you can check out the free training. The link is in my description. And thank you so much. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.